even Peter Obi, who was to be in charge of the fund for prosecuting the election. I found their arrangement a bit interesting. I don't know whether it's peculiar to this particular political party or it's with all political parties. How do you set up a campaign committee or a set of people that are going to prosecute the election for the party, and some of them are not members of the party? You know, I mean, for every interview that you listen to for Aisha Yesufu, she kept saying she's not a member of Labour Party, but she's an obedient. Now, and then she was saddled with responsibility of this Burson campaign fund.
Wow.
I mean, that's one. So I was wondering about just that. Now, I saw some level of dropping figures to say we spent X, Y, Z for legal issues. So here they said that they expended 381,700 naira for party agents. And she, by her own admission, said that she stopped payment about 2,000, she said maybe 2,000 or 3,000 agents she stopped because they were fictitious names. If you spent 384 million for, say, 2,000 people, did you pay each agent 162,000 naira? 162,000 naira to each party agent. Anyway, where am I driving at? I'm driving at, did you see accountability here? You know, and this is not just peculiar to Labour Party, really.
But you don't even hear about APC and PDP
at all.
That's the funny thing, and these are the behemoths that we have in terms of their structure, in terms of their size, in terms of the available resources to them. But maybe they are so, tightly knitted to the point that they don't bring their issues
to the
public in this manner. Well, one thing is clear: any form of campaign, you have to have a plan. And this time we're talking about a presidential campaign.
Yeah.
You have to have a campaign plan. One thing is central to that plan, and that is fund. You need a fund. So it is not abnormal for you to raise campaign funds. And when you do that, oftentimes it is done within the framework of a political party. So you have contact and mobilization committee, security committee, media committee, fundraising committee, and so on and so forth. But in the case of the former governor of Anambra State, Peter Obi, the Obedience Movement and the Labour Party, it was a little different. The party was treated like a special purpose vehicle, because a political party, in the real sense of the word, is a living entity that is established and backed by the Constitution, with registered members, with ESCOs, with committees. It is not a one-man show or a one-woman show or just a clique of people, no matter how well-intentioned you think you are. What the Labour Party and their presidential candidate showed, which is now coming out, is the fact that if they had won that election, they probably wouldn't have been able to govern well. Because you can imagine if they are so much in disarray managing their campaign funds, how would they have managed the nation? Because that's essentially what would have been required of them if Obi had won the election. It would have been required to, manage the country. So you, on one hand, and it was actually very obvious. We were already seeing these cracks. Even the governorship candidates of Labour Party in Oyo State then was saying it that Peter Obi came to Oyo State without informing him, without carrying. I mean, he was supposed to host him, supposed to welcome him. He wasn't even aware. And when he took it upon himself to join him, he was practically frozen out. In fact, he more or less threatened to walk out on him. So the question would be that, did Peter Obi believe in the structure of
that party,
Labour Party, or he just saw? I mean, it's almost like maybe you are planning to go to Lagos, and then somewhere around Challenge, you saw a vehicle and you feel, let me just up on. But in your mind, you're not. I mean, there are many things you don't trust. That's what it looked like. It was a faulty arrangement. I also saw from that statement, especially from Aisha Yesufu, this Messiah complex, this holier than thou attitude. She is a politician.
But she's not admitting it.
She's a politician.
She's not admitting it.
She was lying there. Because I know that many a times, even I follow her on X, she has also described herself as a politician. You know,
but these politicians.
I mean, she, like Michael said, she was trying to play us versus them game. She has described herself many times as by every standard, a politician. There is no question about it, and there's nothing wrong in being a politician.
Yeah.
So, what is required at this point in time for a party that wants to hold itself high as the third force
standard
is for them to come clean. Come clean. You owe the people that's responsible. People contributed.
Yes.
People contributed.
Yes.
People believed in that party. I mean, there were people who sold their belongings. Some of them, their total earnings. Because the obedient movement was such a major wave last year. So you owe it to, and I mean, obviously, Peter Obi is still looking around. He probably sees himself still showing up in 2027. We don't know where, how, and on what platform it's going to be, but it definitely is still positioning and hovering around. So they need to, clear things. Otherwise, people will say, I mean, they are not different after all. And this is not the right way to approach it. You have to explain, give a proper account of how you have disbursed the campaign funds.
Okay, thank you. Today, I mean, I love some of these things that you put out. I was saying that to people who were listening to me on Wednesday and even on Tuesday, that look, if you have a party that didn't see accountability as sacrosanct, if they won election, they will not be accountable to you. Isn't that what we see today from the other political parties? Not just Labour Party, even the other political parties, as they've been winning election and getting to power, have they been accountable to the people? Of course not, because nobody's asking them a question. I was looking at something here earlier today. Look, every political party, according to the Electoral Act, every political party shall submit to the Commission, that is INEC, detailed annual statement of its assets and liabilities and analysis of its sources of funds and other assets, together with statement of its expenditure between 1st January and 30th March of the succeeding year in hard and soft copy. How many parties are doing this?
It's one of those things that we have just simply lifted from the United States system, that they must file and submit to the Federal Election Commission. But here, I'm not even sure INEC has is well equipped to be able to perform that function, because they're not even holding anybody to account on that one. And I think Peter Obi should not play the ostrich here. He should lead the charge. This were his agents, whether it's Aisha Yesufu or Pastor Ito Agudalo, or anyway, they were his agents, they were his people. So he should lead the charge in ensuring accountability.
Thank you. Another part of it said every political party that participates in an election shall submit to the portal designated by the Commission an audited report of its election expenses within 6 months after an election. The reporting period shall commence 360 days to and including the election day. The report shall be signed by the auditors of the political parties and countersigned by the national chairman of the political party, supported by sworn affidavit by the signatories as to the correctness of the content of the report, and so on. But so who will sign this one now? But Michael, so let me hear your thoughts about this.
Okay, so thank you very much. You see, the statement from Abure, has demonstrated to us that the party, the Labour Party, made itself a tool by outsiders to manipulate for electoral purpose. I was wondering if Aisha Yesufu continues and some other people who were very strong in the campaign of for Peter Obi, if they continue to beat their chest to say they are not members of the party. I was wondering, I thought that it was a political party that sponsored a candidate to an election.
That's what the law says.
That's what the law says. It means that the Labour Party breached the law. I'm not even sure that Peter Obi is a member of the party. Don't forget that, just hold on. Don't forget that in some states in Nigeria, during the last election, there were some governorship candidates of Labour Party that the courts dismissed based on the membership of the political party. So you begin to ask questions. Why did Apure say we were watching? It's like you want to use my building for a meeting. You want to use my building for a meeting, and I allow you to enter my room, enter the bathroom, enter my closet, and I'm looking. No question asked. That's a very terrible signal coming from the Labour Party. That said, I was also wondering, why is it that the Labour Party allowed non-members of the party to manage funds of their party?
Abdul was saying their resources.
You see, and that's the tragedy of the whole matter, because it is the party that sponsored the candidate. So Abure should not be referring to campaign funding as their resources. It was supposed to be Labour Party's collected funds that they should spend in the election. You understand? That's an aberration in the first instance.
So the Labour Party did not put together a campaign.
The Labour Party, that means that the Labour Party did not have a campaign council. It was just obedient.
Obi and his team
did
not trust.
They did not trust
the Labour Party machinery, they were operating from the position of strength, given
the movement, the obedient movement.
So the campaign account was funded, was set up, and funds were raised outside of the party structure. So the people who mobilized this funds
normally
were the ones
that's an aberration
of disbursing these funds.
So that said, so I hope we need to put out this matter that we're not just putting the Labour Party on the spot.
No,
here. It is because they are the ones that came out.
Yes.
By the way, you see, accountability questions in political parties is not new. It has been with us. I was reading something a few minutes ago about even the UPN and the NPN and all of them. Yeah. You see, the parties will always have issues with accountability, particularly regarding funding. But what I am trying to say here is that even though and the Labour Party is not the first. Don't forget that I think this woman who was a former minister who also contested in 2015, I think it was 2015 or 2019, the former minister of education. Yeah, she also did that with her party. I remember that she presented documents. Even Showore also did that.
So of these issues.
Yeah, but then the question you should also ask yourself is, why is it that it is only these outside parties, quote and unquote, that are presenting their documents, even though the documents are crippled? But then they are still doing what? Presenting documents. Why is the INEC, by virtue of the fact that it is, Tunde has already said that, INEC does not look like it has the power? Because I thought that what we only know about INEC is registration of voters and conduct of election. There are other roles in the Electoral Act as they are being empowered
that they are
failing in, and this is one of them, to drag the political parties to court to say that you are not presenting your audited reports.
Section 89 sub 2 said that election expenses incurred by a political party for the management of the conduct of the election shall be determined by the Commission and in consultation with the political parties.
Yes,
and I mean, has the Commission been doing this in this act?
So INEC should get the stick for not dragging these political parties to court to say, if you are not, give them notice. we are expecting your audited reports and your campaign funding reports by this date. It says 360
Yes.
days, right? So the election was in February, March. So we should have documents of all parties outside on the website of INEC and all other places that we should have them. That's number one. We should also be questioning how political parties are gathering funds. Where, by the way, we don't even know where these funds came from. They just told us that the people donated money, hard currency, and in naira. Who are the people who donated? Tunde said they copied it from US. In the US, we know, don't we? Yeah. That they have.
We know the small donors. We know the big donors.
Yes. We know the small donors. We know the big donors. These are important questions. But I'd like to conclude here to say that we don't have political parties yet in Nigeria. All you have is SPVs. People just jump, just like Tunde said. I like that analogy. You just go to the challenge that you are going to Lagos, right? Anyone that says Eko, just that's it. That's what it is.
Okay, I'll conclude this part. I mean, we want to hear your own thoughts about it. That's where we are going to anchor it. We are saying that political parties in Nigeria, in the area of accountability, they are failing.
Yes, please.
And also that INEC is not doing its job when it comes to this area of accountability. In order to promote accountability and transparency in political finance in Nigeria, the political parties are expected to file 3 reports to the election management bodies. At INEC. The first is the annual report. Section 86 of 1 of the Act says every political party shall submit to the Commission a detailed annual statement of assets and liabilities, and analysis of its source of funds, and other assets together with statement of its expenditure, including hard and soft copy. I read that earlier. Section 90, so 4 of the Act says a political party sponsoring the election of the candidate shall, within 3 months, after the announcement of the result of the election, file a report of the contributions made by individuals and entities to the Commission. The third document is the election expenses report. Section 89 sub 3 of the Act says election expenses of a political party shall be submitted to the Commission in a separate audited return within 6 months after the election. And in all of these, it seems INEC is not living up to its billing. We'll take a break. We'd like to hear your thoughts about it. When we return, stay with us.
Splash FM 105.5.
Start your day and have a good time.